Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ogden. My name is Dylan Zwick, and I'm glad to be your worship leader today. This is our third Sunday of the month, and for our third Sunday, the theme is, who are we called to be in these times? And we're usually joined by a guest minister, and that is the case today. Today, we are excited and honored to welcome Reverend Dr. Michelle Pederson to our service, who is joining us online. Thank you all for joining us here today. We're so glad you're here in this community that strives to be loving, inclusive, and compassionate. Now, when I got here about 45 minutes ago, we were doing a sound check with our guest minister, and the switchboard for our microphones just wasn't turning on. So don't know what's going on with it. We checked the cords, we checked the power, but it appears to be broken. And so we have had to figure out how to make do, which means that the microphone we are using for at least the parts of the service in this chapel is my phone right here. So that shouldn't affect the experience for anybody here in the chapel. However, for anybody joining us online or watching the recording later on, I apologize. The parts of the sermon or the service where I'm speaking or when our guest is speaking should be reasonably audible, but the choir will likely sound terrible. And I just want to be clear that that is the fault of the microphone and not the fault of the choir. So I apologize for how the music is going to sound through my microphone on my phone. Speaking of joining us online and connecting with our community, one way to do so is to let us know you're here. If you're a newcomer, welcome. We're so glad you're here today. We encourage you to fill out a newcomer card in the pews and put it in the offering basket when it comes by later. And please stay and chat with us after the service. That helps everybody feel more connected and helps our newcomers get to know you more easily. If you haven't already, please put your phones on silent. I think I get a special exemption for that today. And please remember, there are 2 exits from this room, right here and in the back, and 2 exits from the building in each direction. We're so glad each and every one of you is here. Welcome. Now, please join me in saying the chalice lighting words in your order of service. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, and for the energy of action. Today, we are excited and honored to be joined by the Reverend Dr. Michelle Pederson. Michelle Pederson is a spiritual director, writer, preacher, labyrinth facilitator, clergy member, and sociologist. Through her spiritual direction practice and her writing, she helps busy people to slow down, listen to their lives, and notice the mystery that surrounds us. The title of our service here today, or the theme, is Engaging in Crucial Conversations. While polarizing, estrangement, and either-or thinking increases, we can choose an alternative, connection rather than division. By having crucial conversations, embracing both and thinking, and leading from our deepest values of compassion and connection, we can create space for understanding, healing, and transformation. As Unitarian Universalists, We are uniquely positioned to counter polarization with love and help build a world where all can thrive. I'd like to welcome Reverend Dr. Michelle Pederson, who will begin with our opening reading here today.
Our opening reading, What's Ours to Do, by Mary Sheldon. Long ago, when my beloved and I were newly dating, her housemaid, a social worker, black belt, and general wise woman, Kathy Coral, suggested to her a new daily practice. When you're making out your to-do list, make 2 columns, one for you and one for the universe. We were both already inveterate to-do list makers with contrasting styles. My partner's regular and tidy, mine random as needed. And the idea was compelling to both of us. So much in our lives felt beyond our control at that point, from my mother's terminal lung cancer to when we might finally be able to live together. I can't say I regularly wrote it out, but making a second column for the universe became a regular part of my thinking. It served as a way to both name and honor a heartfelt yearning or prayer, and to release to the great all what was not within our power. After my mother's passing, when we finally found our wee, adorable, perfect for us first home, it checked off an earnest second column wish of many years. I shared the idea with our daughter some years later when she was struggling after a painful experience. I taught her the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I suggested that making the universe's second column was a good tool for developing that wisdom. That often, in contemplating what truly was beyond my control, I could surrender to the universe that which I could not accomplish. Often in the process, I discerned the part that was mine to do, a smaller task for the first column, making my prayer more active. Since then, I have come to appreciate the interplay between the first and second column, what's mine to do and what I leave to the universe. In attending to them both, I affirm what Rabbi Tartan knew. We are not required to complete the task, yet neither are we free to withdraw from it. These days, I often find myself overwhelmed by all that is beyond my control. But when I give over what is beyond me to the second column, I often find the first column part that I can do. That ends our reading from Mary Sheldon. Good morning. I'm glad to be with you all this morning. I am the Reverend Dr. Michelle Pederson. My pronouns are she, her, and as a visual description, I'm an older white woman with short gray-brown hair, wearing glasses, and I'm wearing a multicolored blue dress with a black over. Again, I'm so glad to be with you this morning. In the 1950s, the psychiatrist Dr. Murray Bowen sought to understand schizophrenia within a family system, shifting schizophrenia from an individual pathology to a symptom of a dysfunctional family unit. He found schizophrenic psychosis in a patient as a symptom of an active process involving every member of a family. His work led the way to understanding families as emotional systems and was expanded to be more broadly applied to mental health and family dynamics. A core assumption, according to the Bowen Center for the Study of Family, is that an emotional system that evolved over several billion years governs human relationship systems. People have a thinking brain, language, a complex psychology and culture, but they still do all the ordinary things that other forms of life do. The emotional system affects most human activity and is the principal driving force in the development of clinical problems, according to the Bowen Center. Today, the basic tenets of Bowen theory are found in many of the helping professions. The component of Bowen theory that we'll explore this morning is emotional cutoff. Generally thought of as adverse, emotional cutoff is when a person in a family emotionally, physically, and or verbally distances themselves from others in the family. Cutoff is viewed as problematic because it leaves emotional issues unresolved and can lead to issues in other future relationships. Like me, others disagree with this negative view of cutoff, instead viewing cutoff as a valid protective strategy necessary in some families, and not just a dysfunctional mechanism for managing family tension. For some people, particularly where abuse is present, cutoff is important for mental and or physical well-being. And re-engagement is not always safe or appropriate. Research has shown that family estrangement is common and is even increasing. Perhaps, like me, you have a cutoff from someone in your family, or someone has cut you off. A 2013 study of graduate and undergraduate students found that 43.5% experienced an estrangement with one or more family members. A newer study from the University of California at Irvine found more than a third of Americans reported that they have lost relationships with family, friends, romantic partners, and coworkers over political differences. Let that sit with you for a moment. More than a third of Americans reported that they've lost relationships over political differences. The trend in political breakups appears to be accelerating. That same research from UC Irvine found that Democrats reported more breakups than did Republicans. And 2/3 of Democrats said that they were the ones who ended the relationship, compared to 27% of Republicans. In 1991, James Davidson Hunter wrote Culture Wars, the struggle to define America, making sense of the battles over the family, art, education, law, and politics. There he argued that America was in the midst of a culture war, quote, over fundamentally different conceptions of moral authority, over different ideas and beliefs about truth, the good, obligation to one another, and the nature of community, and so on. Over the 35 years since then, we've become even more deeply entrenched in these polarizing impulses and tendencies. There is no doubt that the rise of technology and social media has significantly changed the world. Some of the divisions discussed in Hunter's book persist, while others have been replaced by different polarizing issues. I'm sure if we asked, each of you could name a variety of issues that are polarizing the country right now. These wars are played out by individuals, people in conflict with other people about what is fundamentally right and wrong about the world we live in, about what is ultimately good and what is finally intolerable in our communities. In other words, we are all complicit in these culture wars. And as Hunter articulates, the differences are often intensified and aggravated by the way they are presented in public. The UC Irvine researchers mentioned earlier state, we try to find ways to bridge political divides, while Americans keep burning bridges. And he adds, political breakups can also contribute to polarization. Quote, if we cannot hear opposing perspectives of real people, we'll rely on caricatures drawn by partisan media and become more trapped in our ideological bubbles. Their study's conclusion is direct. Political breakups represent a threat to the well-being of a democracy and likely to the well-being of its citizens. A political breakup may be necessary for safety, or maybe a last straw. Abuse, neglect, addiction, and other harmful behaviors may be present, and the disagreement over politics is simply another issue leading to a cutoff. In other relationships, politics is the primary cause of political breakup. Political breakups or cutoffs often entrench political disagreements rather than influence the other's views. People hold more tightly to their view, the cutoff proving to them that the other is wrong. Cutoff rarely, if ever, resolves the differences between them. I understand the exhaustion felt in trying unsuccessfully to campaign for bodily autonomy, to get people to see the humanity in others, and in the continuous requests to be treated with respect and dignity. I do understand the desire to simply cut off others out of our lives. There are alternatives to cut off. There are many very real, life-threatening issues facing the world today. Those issues will grow more dire as long as we remain divided and fighting. The state of American culture today is shocking, disheartening, maddening, depressing, and distressing. And yet I've not given up hope. The perpetuation of this polarizing culture war is the responsibility of each one of us. Through our daily actions and interactions, we can choose to discontinue participation in polarization and instead shape the direction of American life toward connection. Imagine the power available to us if we stopped fighting amongst ourselves and banded together to change the systems. That is where I find hope. We have the power to change direction, discontinue polarizing, and focus energy on connection. And we, as Unitarian Universalists, are uniquely positioned for this work. Our values guide us: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, with love at the center. We understand we are part of the great web of life and that all beings are interconnected. As such, we understand we need one another. We can cut people out of relationships, but our lives remain interdependent and connected. Our survival means we must learn to work together rather than at cross purposes. We will certainly disagree with others. We won't, however, be able to find solutions to the issues we face as a society if we cannot even communicate within our family systems. Becoming adept at crucial conversations is one way to develop and maintain connections. In their book of that name, Crucial Conversations, Pederson, Grenny, McMillan, and Switzer write, a crucial conversation is a discussion between two or more people where stakes are high, opinions vary, and emotions run strong. How many times have you suddenly found yourself in a crucial conversation that you felt completely unprepared for? Most of us have found ourselves in those situations, and likely many times. The authors argue that when conversations matter the most, we are generally on our worst behavior. There are many reasons why this is true. Biologically, our bodies respond in ways helpful to our physical survival and not to peaceful conversation. We are under pressure because these conversations are often spontaneous, and we often haven't seen real-life models of effective communication skills. We may know what not to do because we've seen poor communication. However, we don't know what to do. In other words, it's normal for us to be at our worst during crucial conversations. It doesn't have to be that way. We can learn and practice new dialogue skills. In Crucial Conversations, the authors write, when it comes to risky, controversial, and emotional conversations, skilled people find a way to get all relevant information from themselves and others out into the open. So what does that mean? Quote, people openly and honestly express their opinions, share their feelings, and articulate theories. They willingly and capably share their views, even when their ideas are controversial and unpopular. It's the one thing extremely effective communicators we studied were routinely able to achieve. Getting all relevant information into the conversation field is challenging. It's not something that we have a whole lot of practice doing. In our current political climate, other views are discounted, belittled, silenced, talked over, and ignored. A climate in which we are led to believe there is only one right way. A useful tool for getting all relevant information into the conversation is to employ both and thinking, allowing all perspectives, ideas, and feelings into the conversation rather than trying to prove I'm right and you're wrong, or that there is only one solution, this one or that one. Rarely is anything purely black and white. There's a lot of gray. Employing both and thinking allows for both statements rather than viewing either one as right or true. Two things do not have to be opposed. Even when two ideas seem contradictory, both can also have some truth. By holding both views simultaneously, another idea or solution may emerge. Try replacing the word but with and in your speech and writing for a week or so. You may be surprised at how often you use either or thinking. Shifting toward both and thinking allows space for new ideas and solutions. A key to success in crucial conversations is in knowing ourselves, knowing how I react, what I believe, and how I interact with others. First, listening to ourselves, our own hearts, allows us to listen with an open heart to another. Maintaining relationships is hard work, even when we share similar opinions. When there are differences, when emotions are high, it becomes much more difficult. Learning to have effective, open dialogue is essential for our personal well-being and the well-being of the world. Knowing what your personal values are and keeping them in the forefront is helpful for crucial conversations. Two of my own deepest held values are compassion and connection. So I need to lead from those values in my conversations and actions. Here's an example. In my family, my sister's relationship with her adult children is strained. The conflict centers on a political issue that has a deeply personal impact. Each of the people involved has spoken to me briefly about the situation. Now, these relationships are not mine to fix. Yet I'm part of this family system, and therefore I have influence. My interactions with them could model healthier conversations, or I could choose to exacerbate the conflicts or fall somewhere in between. I strongly oppose one person's views and disagree with some of the points of the others. Yet I value each of them and want the best for them. So I offered each a listening ear, encouraged conversation, and expressed my hope that they remain in relationship with each other. Leading my interaction with them from a space of compassion and connection didn't resolve their strained relationship, yet it may have helped reduce the volatility of the situation just a bit. I want to live in a world where we value each other, where we respect the interdependent web, where we lead from the center of love, and where we all thrive. If that is what I want of the world, then that is how I must engage in every interaction. That is countercultural. That is Unitarian Universalism. Join me in countering polarization with connection, in listening deeply rather than loudly arguing, in reaching out with compassion to ourselves and to those we disagree. Join me in building the world we dream of. May it be so. Amen.
Is a new hymn, and that we haven't done before. And it's based on the That was lovely. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Michelle Pederson, for that wonderful message. One critical conversation I've struggled with over the years is, so what exactly is Unitarian Universalism? I think I've gotten a little bit better at it, but I think there's still more work that could be done. We continue our collective prayer by coming forward to engage in our weekly ritual. It helps us to collectively hold the challenges and joys of being human. As you light a candle, let it hold your hopes, memories, and gratitudes for this beautiful, complicated world and for our lives. And as you drop a stone in our sacred gathering waters, may it be an opportunity to imagine those burdens and quest for forgiveness held in a community that will let the stone land with care and intention. Please come forward. Our offering is a practice of gratitude for this community filled with care and courage, love and resistance. We commit to keeping this community resourced for the ministries ahead, both in our walls and beyond. The offering we collect each week supports us in being the community that can best respond to the needs of these times. As we collect our offering today, we remember our interconnectedness and interdependence, and we generously offer our care with hopes to support all through these times. Please rise in body or voice, and facing the center aisle, sing together the offering song printed in your order of service. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from Your abundant generosity is part of modeling care and love. Thank you. All right, we now have a few announcements. First, our annual stewardship campaign is underway. Stewardship is how members and friends of UUCO let us know what they expect to contribute in the coming year, helping us build a budget and plan for the future. A pledge is not a contract. It's simply your best estimate of what you plan to give, and if circumstances change, that's okay. Thanks to the generosity of this community, this past year we launched the Good Trouble Community Engagement Series, welcomed guest ministers through our In These Times series, hired new staff to strengthen UUCO, and reactivated our religious education program for children. Our stewardship goal this year is $50,000. If you haven't yet pledged, please take a moment to fill out the pledge form or simply let Shallon know what your pledge will be. Next announcement. Get involved at UUCO. So one of UUCO's greatest current needs is for additional board members. The board helps guide the vision, direction, and long-term health of our congregation, and we're looking for people who care about the future of this community. You don't need prior board experience, otherwise how would we ever get any members, or years of membership to serve. We value fresh perspectives, diverse voices, and a willingness to participate. The time commitment is often more manageable than people expect. It's mostly one meeting for about an hour and a half every month. UUCO has many other ways to get involved as well, including religious education, finance committee, Good Trouble, care committee, and the Sunday support committee. If you'd like to help UUCO continue to grow and thrive by volunteering to serve in one of these ways, please contact Shell. Third announcement, the UUCO Book Club will meet next on July 15th at 7 p.m. They will be discussing the book Made in America, An Informal History of American English. And, actually, yeah, come up here.
So I'll announce this for Marilyn, who heads up the book club. We love our trustee leader. So we did have a slight change to that, which probably didn't get passed on because we just had our meeting this week. So the Made in America is going to be moved to October. And as some of you know, we read the book James by Percival Everett. It was a counter to The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And so James is the point of view of Jim in Huckleberry Finn. He is going to be doing a speech as part of the Hemingway Festival that we're going to be watching remotely together at one of our members' house at the July meeting. So if you're interested in that, you can let me know. You can let Marilyn know. She'll pass the information on so that change can be into the newsletter, but just wanted to let you know about that and invite you to come and join us.
Other announcements.
An extraordinary thing is happening at Weber State from 10 to 1 next Saturday. For any of you who thought you just might like to draw the human body, this is free. The model is really extraordinary. He comes from California, and he is the model for a lot of animation that we have seen. So he's going to be nude, but he's going to be probably draped or something. And I've seen a lot of pictures of him, and he's really an amazing person. So I'm going to be there, and Karen might be there. I hope so. And anybody else, this is a big chance. It's free. Weber State, you can talk to me later if you want to know more, but it's in the arts building.
Got two different hats I wear. First one is for the League of Women Voters. Just a reminder that Tuesday is primary election day. If you received your ballot, now not everyone received ballots because in Weber County, only the 5th Senate district has a Democratic race this year, but there are numerous races on the Republican side if you get a Republican ballot. If you have not returned your ballot, you can visit Vote 411 to compare the candidates side by side. This is a service of the League of Women Voters. We do not editorialize or make comments or have any bias. We just want you to be an informed voter. It is too late to mail your ballot. So you will need to use the drop boxes, which are located in front of every library and city hall, also up at Weber State in the Union Building. And so please get them in. Less than 30% of voters in Weber County vote in the primaries, and they are critical. My other hat is as Girl Scout leader. We completed for those who don't know, our congregation co-sponsors a troop with First Presbyterian. We are now up to 9 girls. We have 1 opening in the troop for a 2nd through 6th grader. If anyone has a child or grandchild or niece that would be interested in this, please let us know. And we finished up our 3rd year this year with a very successful camp out. And it was the first time the girls had done an overnight camp out together, and it went beautifully. Thank you. And thank you for your support.
I follow 2 visual artists, for those that are new here, Karen and Suzanne. Yeah. Anyways, and I'm a visual artist too. So I am making my announcement to let you know it's a short pop-up show again. I'm kind of used to those. And it's in Salt Lake City. So if you travel to Salt Lake City in the next week and a half, go to the public library. Have any of you been down to that public library? Yeah. The main one? The main one, yeah, on 4th South. Yeah, it's a great wall space. It's not the 4th level gallery. It's going to be in the lower level, but the walls are big and long. And I'm one of 8 photographers sharing work from photographs from No Kings rallies and just diversity in our communities. And it'll be probably 50 pieces of art. And the reception is next Saturday. That's the announcement today. It's because of weekend hours, they close at 5 on Saturdays and Sundays. So it'd be 3 to 5 next Saturday if you want to meet the fellow photographers. And it's really a pretty cool show.
They're right now.
We hang on Thursday. So that's what I mean by a pop-up show. It's short. It's only 10 days long. And it comes down July 6th. And the library is closed on July 4th. So Karen's probably got an announcement for her show too. So anyways, I hope to see you. If you can't come, we'll put it on Facebook or some sort of video shortly next week.
So sorry, I forgot. I have a show currently at the Pleasant Valley Library that's on Adams Avenue across from the hospital. And it is up until the end of June, so you only have another 10 days to see it. I am donating 100% of my proceeds to the ACLU Foundation of Utah. This show will also then move to the Ogden Valley Library, and it will be there to the end of the summer, to the end of August. I think that will open around July 6th. And I will have an announcement on a reception. We haven't nailed that down yet. Thank you.
This is going to be a quickie. Up on my website, finally, is all the remaining pottery and sculpture in my house for sale. And every week I'm putting up more work and more work. All the proceeds of your purchase, and it's everything from I think about $30 up to, $3,000. All the proceeds go to the traveling expenses of my exhibition, I'm Roofless, Not Homeless, to encourage people to be aware of the shitty way homeless people are treated. Once again, 50% they say of homeless people are mentally ill. Half of that, 25%, are made mentally ill by their living conditions.
Thank you, everybody. Our closing hymn today is number 131 in your hardback hymnal, Love Will Guide Us. Stand up. Guide us, please beside us, overside us, lead the way. On the road from greed to giving, love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak for them, you can give everything you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace will guide us, hope inside us, will go on the road from faith to giving. Love will guide us, it's a hard time. As this service comes to an end, please join me in saying the chalice extinguishing words in your order of service. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action.
We have the power to change the world, to shape dialogue toward compassion and connection. May we claim that power and shape the world toward the beloved community. Go in peace. May it be so.